We are doing a module called Digital Media Across Asia, and we get to select Japan as our task. So maybe just tell us more about yourself and what do you do and why do you get interested in social media?
Okay, so my name is Acar, and I'm an associate professor at Kobe City University of Foreign Studies. And I've been doing research about social media, I'd say, since 2005. Because I was doing my my doctoral studies at the University of Connecticut. I started that program in 2004, and Facebook came out during the first quarter of 2004, I assume. And our school was in New England, and the University of Connecticut was one of the schools which had access to Facebook earlier than many other schools in the U.S. And back then, I was doing research about digital media, like advertising effectiveness, and I realized that this new platform, had been gaining some momentum. Almost. I'd say maybe almost all students had an account with Facebook, and there was no study about Facebook back then. We didn't know anything about why people use it, how people used it, and back then, actually, at the University of Connecticut, it was popular because, people used to party a lot. They were in a series as like you guys are, like doing this kind of like project. So they used to party a lot, and Facebook had this great function where you could organize events, and they used to organize those events on Friday and Saturday nights. So it was very popular, and I'd say when I first got my first study in year 2005, and maybe, I don't want to give you a wrong percentage, but I'd say it was more than 80 or 90% of the people had Facebook accounts. I'm talking about first-year communication majors. So it was quite popular, but there was no research about it, and that's how I started, because it was related with digital media, and it was related with human-computer interaction. It was related with computer-mediated communication. And our program was kind of strong in those areas, and those areas were the classes that I was studying back then. So that's how I started. But if you're asking about why I'm doing research about social media in Japan, well, because now I've been living in Japan, and also it's the same, there are not many resources about the dynamics of Japanese users, Japanese social media users. 2 years ago, I wanted to find out more about how people use Mixi and what are the differences between Mixi and Facebook. And I searched for, I usually use Google Scholar because our library doesn't have many resources. So on Google Scholar, I search for those keywords, basically like Mixi Japanese users, or Mixi Japan, and there were maybe 5 or 10 studies. And at the same time, I searched for like Facebook user dynamics or user behavior, and there are more than 3,000. And I say, Mixi is the largest social network, and there are only a few studies. And Facebook is the largest social network in the U.S., and there are more than 3,000 studies. So it was disproportional. And obviously, we didn't know much about social media dynamics or social media usage characteristics in Japan. That's how I started.
Was there a reason why Japan and not other countries then, in your opinion? Or was it something that you saw in Japan that brought you here?
No. Actually, I didn't come as an academician to Japan, so I started teaching actually 2 years ago. In the U.S. when I was in my doctorate, I was teaching, but I didn't come here to work in academia. they're different. I think you're asking two things. One of them is why there are not many studies, and the second thing is if Japanese users are different. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So why there are not many studies in Japan? That's you know, there are many things. If you read my posts, if you read my papers, I always talk about the risk avoidance in Japan.
It's excellent.
Perhaps there are not many studies compared to Taiwan or Korea because Japanese people maybe are more afraid of making mistakes in English and sending them to international journals. They're different.
Yeah, maybe you can share with us some of the highlights from your research.
How they're different. First of all, okay, where to start? Well, a mixed usage was quite different. Like, first thing we should know about mixing is mix has been around for more than 5-6 years. But mixed adoption was always about 20-25%. Okay, and you know, Facebook started, and Facebook always you know, has been growing, picking up new users all the time. But Mixi has always been around the same, you know, always been around for, always has been used by 20%. So, and I'm sure you read some of the international reports about Japan, you can see in Japan, you know, right now it stands around 56%. But Japan has always been maybe the lowest penetration social media country in the world. So what this means is all people had access to Mixi for more than 5 or 6 years. It always stood around 20%. That means people were not so much interested in social media. It's not like they couldn't use social media. They could use Mixi, but they did not. So when people say, well, Facebook is going to take over Japan, everybody's going to be using Facebook, well, you should hold it right there. First of all, you know, now many people can use social media, but they're not. It's not like they don't have access to Facebook. It's like they don't feel an urge to use social media tools. So that's one of the big differences. And there's site called Ni Channel. So in English it's called 2 channel, or 2nd channel. So basically over there you create nicknames and you leave comments and you can criticize things, criticize people. It's been the world's largest forum. And they say like there are more than 800,000 entries, 800,000 topics. I'm not sure that that's true, but that's what they say. So it's been around for a while, and people go there and leave comments. But in different parts of the world, we don't have something like this. We don't have a forum where hundreds of thousands of people go there and spread rumors or leave comments. So this is another unique thing of Japan. And the other thing is creator versus spectator ratio. So in Japan, not many people create content. Like you don't see people uploading pictures, uploading videos, or updating their status all the time. So this is not happening in Japan. So we still see a huge impact of concern for anonymity. I mean, they don't want to reveal their real face and real name. So it still impacts the social media behavior in Japan. Yeah, I mean, this is what's different here in a nutshell.
Yep. So